Hi, my name is Piotr Musiał. I'm a composer working for 11-bit studios. I worked on Frostpunk, This War of Mine. You may also know me from The Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, Game Deck, or Red Solstice 2. You can also hear my music in some of the movie trailers and TV shows.
Hi, I'm Ed Critchley. I'm a music composer. I live in Brighton in the UK, and I have worked with Luke in State of Play games for many years now. Started with Lumine City and done Inks recently, and of course, South of the Circle.
When working on my music, I like to mix stuff, like the live stuff, live orchestra, live string quartets, some single instruments that are very specific for a specific genre.
As with a lot of composers, I use a combination of instruments, both virtual and real. Something I'm really obsessed with at the minute is these transducers, which vibrate, and whatever it's in contact with becomes a speaker. I have one attached to the back of an old piano. I sort of ripped everything of the piano out, and it's just the strings and the soundboard. And that acts like a reverb unit, but obviously picking out the particular notes, resonant frequencies from that. And I have the other one that just roams around the studio. I have on a long wire, and I attach it to all the different things and make lovely music out of it.
Well, one of the most amazing things today composers have is VST instruments that kind of simulate the sound of real instruments. You can write for an orchestra in your home studio. Bring your laptop to your vacation and just work on headphones and write some music this way.
I found I was taking melodic themes that were originally for one thing, perhaps about a political situation or danger or whatever, and then using that same motif to tell you about Peter's relationship with parents or romantic relationship and so on. I hope I've achieved that it's noticeable if you want to notice it, if you really concentrate, but it doesn't scream at you or make too much of it. It's just reflecting the confusion in Peter's mind.
I used sort of small motifs, like 3-4 notes, that were the base for the main theme. And for DLC, for example, I like to take these motifs, kind of reverse them, and this was kind of hidden in the soundtrack for the DLCs. And for example, for The Last Autumn, I think I used the original version of the theme only once at the very end of the game, which was because The Last Autumn was prequel, so it was leading to what happened next in the original vanilla game. Some chords or small motifs on a piano, and I stretched them like 100 times, and I made ambient sounds with it. So this is kind of the background of the music, which makes place for the live orchestra and quartet. So this was the inspiration to that was of course the setting of Frostpunk.
How did you manage to get that sense of scale? I heard things you were doing and I thought, I could have done it that way. It was very impressive. You mixed together some big sort of almost trailer music type sort of dances. I hope you don't mind me saying so. Like with strings, but then there's intimate melodic. You can hear a single instrument as well, and I thought it was fascinating.
Cool. I mean, this was the whole point of the soundtrack to start small and just grow with the game.
Okay.
It didn't exactly turn out in the game to just start with small ensemble or solo instruments, because some of the music is still randomized, to get more mileage. Yeah, but that was the idea, to start small and then just grow in instruments and to approach this final storm.
I was wanting to reflect Peter's isolation, and he could feel small and in his own head, even when he's surrounded by a huge vista, and I could hear similar things.
Yeah.
It's
Just a
interesting.
similar idea.
Yeah, but different approaches, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's cool. With South of the Circle, I decided to try and work from concept art for the game, and I had some recordings of the motion capture that they'd done, so I could hear some of the dialogue and the voices and get an idea of the relationships between the characters, which is incredibly useful. But I don't know about you, I found I didn't want to play the game first. I just wanted to get an idea of this general setting, and of course read the script, create the pieces of music as if I was writing the soundtrack, if you see what I mean, rather than the music for the game. That's slightly separate things.
You know, for Frostpunk, I did want to play the game first to feel the pacing of it.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, especially for a game that you will play for 20-30 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do sometimes just try to push it back and sit down and do drafts. I guess you do the same. It's, conceptualizing the style of the music this way.
It's interesting you say about the pacing. That's very interesting. I think with South of the Circle, it plays. In fact, they're very careful about timing of dialogue and everything. So I would do as I was saying, but then the next thing would be even just to record screen captures of playing through. So I was kind of scoring to picture really, and then the last step is okay. Now, of course, this has to work. Implemented into the game. I took the melody and I changed the harmony as if I was writing it myself.
So it's another evolution of the micro theme.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So with that, I just did a single take, off-grid performance of my clunky piano. You got some interesting things happening because of the harmonic changes you're making and the accidentals you're putting in. And I thought, this is fantastic. You have so many themes that are complementing each other and reflecting each other and bouncing around. I thought, okay, I'm going to pretend that I'm writing my own piece. It's rhythmic, very much to grid, kind of like dance music without the bass drum, which happens in South of the Circle a few times. You just get this pulse. Yeah. And this is a great idea that I've sort of not really come up with, but I really, really enjoyed it. And I've moved things from things you've pitched up high, I've pitched down low, just to deliberately take it away from the original. But yeah, it's been an interesting collaboration, even though we're working separately. We'll see if you hate
cool
it.
Ideas. I'm really looking forward to listening to it.
And likewise.
Hopefully we're not gonna get angry at each other later.
No, well, we'll see. But I think it's a very exciting prospect to take someone else's work. I love the social interaction as well as the creative one. But there are times where it's my time to sit alone in a studio for a month.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that basically, at least for me, writing soundtracks is writing my own music. So it's not very often that I have time to just do my own stuff just for my pleasure. Music for the game or whatever project I'm working on, and it's just still my music. It may be restricted a little bit. There may be some boundaries. There may be some structure that's confined.
Yes.
But there's still a lot of me in there.
But I find when I'm doing my own work that I have to falsely put those boundaries on myself.
Yeah, true.
Because it's nothing good comes of total freedom. It's creatively, I think. So, and in a similar way, although thankfully the technical restrictions are no longer really apply in the same way, you still have the same thing. You have to create the right emotion at the right time, or you have to tell a story in a certain direction. But this is great, isn't it? It's nice to have this focus. I love it, and experimented in working for South of the Circle and other things. I've then taken into my personal work and thought, okay, this is great. These are very much equal areas in terms of creativity, and that's great.
Yeah, maybe the way you work sometimes like try to detach from the game and just work with a concept. Maybe this is a way for you to work on your own music.
Yes.
It is your own music. It then becomes the game music.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. So now I would like to introduce to you our versions of each other's music, Frostpunk and South of the Circle, available on YouTube, Spotify, Steam, and lots of other streaming services.